like this brings a certain fascination. The Nei Chung, as the principal state oracle, goes first into trance. He's followed by the Gadong, the oracle who does not yet speak. The Dalai Lama believes it may be because of his physical condition. He contracted tuberculosis when he came to India from Tibet. But once he disappears into trance, whatever possesses him makes a mighty effort to get out a few words. Finally, the Tenma is brought in. While she's not a state oracle, she is a protector of the Buddha Dharma, the vast body of Buddhist thought she's been oath-bound to support for the last 1,200 years. Looking at this face, it dawns on me that whether we try to interpret this experience from a Western psychological perspective, as some dissociated or transpersonal state of human consciousness, or see it like the Tibetans as a window onto a consciousness that is completely non-human, that ultimately we are witnessing the self disappearing within an experience of such depth and subtlety that any explanation for it will necessarily come up short. Although it's perhaps worth noting that the Tibetan explanation engenders respect for the experience, while mainstream psychological science treats it at best as anomalous and at worst as abnormal.
What did you learn?
No particular sort of points to ask them. This year, we will contact with Chinese government, so this should be successful. And then me personally visit different country, so some serious obstacle there or not, they all say, okay, no problem. Then one occasion, the Nei Chung oracle much sort of moved. He asked me I should live long. So like human being, very much emotion, nearly sort of crying. And then Tenma, similar sort of response at the end, some poems expressing again for my long life, a prayer or some kind of request, like that.
Whatever oracles are, for the Dalai Lama they are not special. They are just another input into his decision-making process.
We are human beings. These are oracle. We are more important. We have more responsibility. I usually ask them their suggestion. If something, according to our common sense, this is definitely only one choice, then we take decision. But if there are few choices, we feel dilemma, then ask different views, or sort of, different views from different people as well as different oracle.
Right.
That usually I do. Then finally, usually I do the divination. But these things, you need some meditation. Yeah. In my case, firstly, I remember Buddha, then Dhammasambhava, then Lama Tsongkhapa, then Mahakala.
After a lengthy sequence of meditations that culminates in the Buddhist view of interdependency, the Dalai Lama does a traditional Tibetan divination. In the Mo or Dobal divination, balls of barley dough are wrapped around pieces of paper with choices written on them. They are then rolled around inside a bowl. With the mind in a meditative state that directly perceives the interdependence of all things, the ball that first escapes the rim sometimes becomes
speaker of truth. Otherwise, this Dobo?
Yeah.
It's just nonsense, silly. But a lot of meditations and the understanding of the reality of the nature.
Nature
No?
and reality, yeah.
Oh, the interdependency.
Interdependence.
No independent absolute.
Maybe this is the crux of the question of self that is raised by transpossession. If nothing exists with absolute independence, if things are only interdependent, then the whole notion of self changes from some fixed idea into something that is open and elastic, something that ultimately may be only provisional. Little wonder that the strange state of oracles that has been happening to human beings for thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of years, continues to be accepted as a normal part of Buddhist reality, even as it's been marginalized by our recent scientific worldview.
Science, very good sort of method to investigate what's the reality. So I admire, I respect. That does not mean the science knows everything. Modern science, up to now, mainly concentrate on a field where you can see, you can calculate, or you can measure. So that is the physical. Formless field, you need some different method.
Have you ever considered the physiological testing of oracles in trance?
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah. Interesting question, then.
Oh yes, I want. But then of course first we should have the permission from the oracle. Then if we get permission with beating, that's the extra trouble.
Very good point.
We have to approach very gentle way. Need some patience.
Right there. What do you think could have happened at that point?
So that's not a very an exclusive experience. There are several other people who have experienced the same thing. There are even some who going themselves in a trance. So these sort of electrifying experiences happen quite often to several people.
Just because of the actual power of the oracle?
Sure. It's definitely like that, and it's also seen as a blessing.